Okay, guys, welcome once again. In part one, we had a discussion on talking points related to both India and England with respect to the recently concluded T20I series. Now, let's just move on to a topic that grabbed all the attention during the fourth India England T20I, the soft signal debate. Whether the on field umpire should have the option to give a soft signal to the third umpire in relation to judging if a catch has been taken cleanly or not is something that sparks a controversy on some occasions, like it happened with the David Malan's effort at fine leg. The third umpire found nothing conclusive, while the on-field umpire, standing at quite a good distance, thought it was out. Dan, your thoughts on this, and then I'll come to Nikhil.
Oh, absolutely. We should start banning the soft signal. Just go straight to the TV umpire. I mean, you're standing there and you're saying one hand, one bounce for a fine leg catch. No, it wasn't out to begin with. And I think we've got to look at banning that soft signal because it's just creating too much confusion, too much controversy. And when it's a soft signal, never not been controversial. We've always had controversy with this. It's kind of like the umpire's call in when you have a review and half the ball's hitting off stump. We got to ban the soft signal. It's got to go. Nick, what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, see, the whole point of going to the TV umpire is that you get the right decision, right? And if you can't get the right decision, then what's the point of it?
Absolutely.
Like, it doesn't make sense. I'm all for keeping the human element of it with the LBWs. I get it why they go with the umpire's call on that, but that's because the umpire has all the tools necessary or the ability to make the best possible decision for an LBW. For a catch, which is like 30-40 meters away from him, when the fielder himself doesn't know if he has caught it or not, and the umpire who's standing like 30-40 meters away, if he has to make a call, it's not an optional thing, right? He has to give one of the two, yes or no, then he's just guessing, or rather he's just going, well, it might be. So, and once you do that, then you're basically putting all the pressure on the TV umpire to find evidence against that when you actually don't believe what you have decided. It's just a guess. So if you're going to guess, then might as well not do it and just let the TV umpire see whatever the evidence shows. And if there's not enough evidence to give a batsman out, it doesn't go. That's the benefit of the doubt always has been going to the batsman. Just continue doing it. And it's as simple as that. It is many views to look at it, but I think at the end of it, if you get a right decision, is anyone really going to complain? That's the only question you need to ask. So
That's it.
That's it.
That's
Actually,
the whole idea of it, right?
because even
It's
when
about
I
getting the
was-
right decision.
Yeah, because when I was watching the match live, so when I looked at that catch, of course, from a close angle, I thought that David Malan hadn't actually caught it properly. Of course, it's easier said it from here, but at the very same time, I really thought that the two fingers of his left hand and of course of his right hand also, they weren't in basically contact with the ball, and the ball was actually touching the ground. And that's where I felt that how can the on-field umpire really give it really give the soft signal as out, while the while the third umpire termed it as inconclusive. It doesn't really make sense. It was I think it was very dicey. It was a controversial decision, of course. Of course, you never knew, had it not happened, who knows, Suryakumar Yadav would have probably gone on to get that 3-figure mark. But at the very same time, I think this definitely leads a rule change. And I think if there is any kind of uncertainty regarding such decisions in future, it's better that the third umpire takes a call on this. And if and I think there's also this thing that if the soft signal is out, then I think the third umpire has to stay with the on-field umpire's decision. And that is where the benefit of doubt, which usually has been the case, which has actually been with the case with the batsman, doesn't necessarily feature now.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's the issue, right? And it's I think the thinking or the ideology behind having this soft signal is that it stems from the LBW situation as well. Like the umpire has to give a decision, and then you go to the third umpire if the team challenges and stuff like that, right? So I think they have just implemented it it's like copy, Control C, Control V, copy paste, and they have just
Yep.
put it there as a blanket rule for everything which is dodgy. Give us a decision, and the third umpire will look at it. But they have to probably separate it. That's where the balance has to be maintained. Like
Yes,
that's
yes,
that's
yes.
common sense. There's
Yes,
nothing else to it, right? LBW, keep it, let the umpire decide. It's fine, human element of it and all that. But
yes.
you can't really be making soft decisions which are like 30, 40 meters away from you. That's just stupid. It
Absolutely.
doesn't make sense.
Absolutely. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
So, guys,
Would you guys take out the umpire soft call from LBW though?
the umpire's call that you are saying from the DRS.
Yeah, umpire's call. Sorry, yeah, umpire's call. Yeah. So if you're talking about it, then why not take it out everywhere?
Yeah,
Because that's what
definitely.
ICC is going to come back to captains of the teams, right? It's like if you're going to take it out, we'll need to take it out throughout. So
Definitely.
where do you guys sit on the LBW part of it? Do you want the umpire's call to stay or to go?
I would want the umpire's call
Siddharth,
to-
what do you think?
Yeah, I would want the umpire's
I
call.
want umpire's call to go.
Yeah.
It's either
Yeah.
out or it's not out.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't have to, be that way because, the ball is hitting the wickets. And of course, if the on-field umpire has given the decision is not out, it doesn't necessarily have to say not out. If it is hitting the wickets, it's out. That's it. You really don't want to, have this thing that, probably you have this distance of 2.5 centimeters or whatever is the case. There's no point in, sticking to all of this. I think it's just about, keeping the game pure and simple, controversial free, I would say. So let's, I think this is where I think the ICC probably, needs to take those calls. Let's take the example of the ICC World Test Championship. Out of nowhere, the rules got changed during the lockdown. I mean, it did not make any sense. Yes, you wanted to establish that fairness, with the teams that who probably weren't able to, play all of their matches in the first cycle. But yeah, making those rule change which clearly took the advantage from a couple of teams. Yes, India were one of the teams there, but had India not be the team, and let's say any of the other teams were featured in that list, I would have said the same thing, because it does not, as Ravi Shastri also said it clearly, that it does not make any sense to shift the goalpost without any knowledge, or let's say without any I would say yeah,
There's no basis for it.
That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah, of course. There's no
logic behind it. Yeah.
No, it's silly. It's something invented by to help keep English batsmen in the game.
absolutely.
It would reduce the number of runs in the innings. So that's my only concern. And I think I am really on the fence with that, because I'm all for the right decision to be made, right? But see, let's say you take that out, then you don't really need umpires. You really don't need umpires on the field after that. If you take out this thing, what do you need the umpires for? Like, he's clean, he's either out.
You got into the late.
You appeal, you go to the third umpire.
Well, leg buys, no balls. Buys.
Yeah, I mean, they can do it on the TV. That's the whole human element of it, right? Like, you can take them out, and it will probably still not waste a lot of time.
Yeah.
For like, you could watch it on the TV. Like, we could theoretically, if you're watching a match, you can tell it's a leg bye, it's this thing, or whatever that decision is, a wide or whatever, and just announce it. Probably, I mean, I'm not saying they should do it. That's a really ridiculous idea to do it. I'm just saying that is what ICC as an organization will think of it as. Like, what's the role of the umpire if we take out that soft the umpire's call part of it?
Who's going to separate? Who's going to separate the fights? Come on, you need the umpires there for the drama. You're just no fun. First you're starting on Darwin, now you're starting on people like Paul Blocker Wilson, and who else is next, mate? What about the commentators?
You really need a mediator to separate George Bailey and James Anderson from saying that, from Micah Clark and James Anderson, get ready for a broken F arm. Hope you remember.
Well, he didn't really break his arm. I mean, James Anderson would have, checking his shorts for the rest of the series, but he never really broke his arm.
With the kind of spells that he was bowling, I wouldn't have been surprised if, James Anderson's arm would have been broken. Yeah, it could have happened.
I mean, that was such a fun,
Really fiery,
fun spell,
lethal
though.
spells. Yes.
Yeah, I absolutely love those because it's so rare. I think that's why we love it so much, right? It's one of those times where you want to see it more, but because of the entertainment aspect, it's a batsman's game now. But it's so much fun to watch, like fast bowlers running in, and I'm not saying injuring people, obviously, but like just scaring the batsman, which is what it is.
All right, moving on, guys. The BBL draft.
Dan, I have a question for you on this before you put forward your point.
It's a very interesting one.
Absolutely. See, Cricket Australia's plans to introduce a Big Bash League draft for the next season has actually left player movement in limbo, and it hasn't gone down well with the clubs and player agents. So with players currently, they cannot move clubs due to the contracting embargo that was expected to be lifted, I think in mid to maybe probably late March. But it appears that now it will extend to probably next couple of months. So Dan, I'm going to start with you and then we'll end with Nikhil. What do you have to say on this?
I think the BBL draft's a terrible idea unless the Scorchers get all their local players back. Josh Felipe, Darcy Short, Marcus Stoinis. Basically, they're 50 over side into their T20 side. If that happens, I'm all for a BBL draft. If it doesn't happen, then yes, it's a horrible idea. But in all theory, I don't. No, it's not going to happen. Brad Hodge won't let it happen. No, I think a BBL draft, unfortunately, just won't go ahead. The competition's not big enough for it. And I just think the players will come up against it. Nikhil, what do you think? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, it'll go ahead. I think they put it forward, I think last year, but because of COVID, they couldn't go through with the proposal. But this year they are going to do it. I think they'll let... I think they are going to let people or the teams retain one player, overseas player. I'm not sure about the exact rules they have decided yet, but I think they will be letting people, the teams will be retaining one overseas star, which is going to put the whole dynamics of it in a bit of a chaotic situation, because see, franchise cricket in itself, in Australia in particular, is more to do with your connection with the team, right? It's if you just start mixing all the stars left, right, and center, now the players I loved at the Sixers are going to play for Stars, and the Stars players are going to play for Renegades. The Renegades go to Hobart, and it's such a chaotic experience in 1 year that it doesn't make sense in a way, but it's going to go ahead, right? That's what the bottom line is, that the organization wants to make BBL more exciting and more appealing to the foreign players. That's the bottom line of it. And if they do the draft, it will probably get a lot of attention from everywhere, every single cricketing country. Yep. So that's their point of view in terms of from a marketing perspective. I work in marketing, so I know what their thinking is, and I'm all for it from a marketing perspective. As a cricket fan, I'll probably be excited for the first half of it, but eventually what happens, it's not something which I'm looking forward to. But I think we'll just have to swallow this one and just move forward.
Yep, that sounds good.
Yeah. Okay, guys.
Let's wrap it up there, guys.
Yeah, that's it from our end. And thank you for joining. And do subscribe to our channel, Cricket Spectacle, for more such videos on cricket. And till then, it's goodbye from me, Dan, and Nikhil.
Cheers.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.